This game is a work of fiction and its author's imagination. It does not aim to offend, insult, or discriminate anyone on a religious, social, economical, species, or other basis. Any violation of the player's aesthetic sensitivity, active citizenship, or any other spiritual impulse lies on their conscience. Any resemblance of the characters to your real or imaginary friends, really, neighbors, colleagues, tulpas is entirely coincidental. All the heroines are of 18 years old and have confirmed their consent on participating in this game in written form. An excerpt from the screenwriter's medical history can be provided on demand. This game does not contain any propaganda of voluntary or not ending one's life. Not a single mascot, animal, or human was hurt during the creation of this game. Happy reading. Well. Alrighty. Actually, it's Everlasting Summer. Well, hello everybody, this is Gunsage, and it is time for more of my uncomfortably romantic Valentine's Day special. Today we will be playing a little game called Everlasting Summer. It has been declared as romance, but, well, we shall see, I suppose. Dear Pioneer, you are on the verge of wondrous discoveries. The doors of the most wonderful place in the world, our favorite camp, Sovyanok, have opened before you. You'll remember this session for the rest of your life. Willkommen! Well, it's not Willkommen. It's Russian. I don't know what that is. Okay. I was having that dream once again. Ooh. That dream. Same thing every night. But it's all forgotten in the morning, as usual. Well then, how do you know that? Okay. Maybe it's for the best. Only a glimpse of memory will remain, of gates half opened, as if inviting me to somewhere, with two frozen stone pioneers standing close by. And also that strange girl. Okay. Who keeps asking me? Will you come with me? You come? Yeah. But where? And why? And where am I, anyway? Of course, if it all happened in real life, I would certainly have been scared. Why? Well, what else would one expect to feel? I don't know, confusion? But this is just a dream. I don't know why they do that. The same one I see every night. There must be a reason! Yes, you're dreaming. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. Not necessarily. Something desperately seeking my attention. Yes, comma, desperately. Since everything that surrounds me here is real! Okay. As real as things on my own flat, I could open the gates, hear the hinges creak, brush the crumbling rust away with my hand, inhale the fresh, cool air, and shiver from the cold. Well, dreams are fairly immersive. I could, but to do that, I would need to pick myself up, take a step, move my hand. But this is a dream. I understand that, but what of it? What does my understanding change? Alright, I think you're overthinking this. Because here, it's just like on the other side of the cracked screen of an old TV which struggles to fight against the static noise and strives to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. Actually, cracked screen of a TV won't do much of anything at all. I would even argue even the older cathode ray TVs, by the time that happens, whatever. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Yeah, see, that's why that's a little weird. Dots. Kubishok! Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? About the stars, for instance. What? Why the stars, then? I'd rather ask about the gates! Yes! The gates! She would be so surprised. Alright. Or better, why the dot over an I was called a tittle, but the dot over a J was called a superscript dot. Okay, you're really overthinking this. Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore! What? Still, what do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? What does anything have to do with anything? Because even if I'm having this dream every night, which will be forgotten soon anyway, so how do you remember it? I've got to look for answers here and now! And there, if you look carefully, you can see the Magellanic clouds. Okay. As if I'd ended up in the southern hemisphere. Dots. In a dream, there are the small things that catch your attention. An unnatural color of grass, impossible curves or straight lines. What? Or your own distorted reflection, while the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seems trivial. It's natural, since here you cannot die. Well, that's not entirely true. People die in their dreams all the time. Well, die in their sleep. I don't know if they necessarily die in their dreams. I know it for sure. I've done it hundreds of times. But if you cannot die, is there a point to living? Okay. I should ask the girl. She's a local. She should know. Yes, exactly! I should ask her about the owl, for example. Weren't you gonna ask her about the stars, or about the fucking dots? This guy's all over the place. One strange bird it is. What? Though it doesn't matter. No, it really doesn't. I don't know why you're going on about this. Thoughts. Will you come with me? And every time I have to answer, it's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end and I will never wake up. How do you know this? You don't know this. And how would you remember this if you keep forgetting? Nah, I'll stay here. Every time, it's so hard to decide on the answer. Where am I? What am I doing here? Who is she? And why does so much of my life depend on the answer? Or maybe it doesn't. It's just a dream after all. Just a dream. Okay. What was the point of that? That's... oh, okay. Did you fall asleep on the keyboard? Okay. Whoa, you're on 4chan, huh? You see that? He is on 4chan. They're in a LazyTown thread. Or, well, they're in a thread that has LazyTown pictures on it anyway. See? Yeah. Good times. The computer screen stared at me as if it was alive. Okay. Sometimes it really did seem to me that it was conscious of itself, had its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. You're kind of weird. As if in our relationship, the screen wasn't an instrument. It was me, who was a lifeless piece of plastic and textilite. Okay. There is some truth to that, probably because the computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time, rarely ICQ or Jabber. Wow, you're gonna mention that shit, okay. And forums even more rarely. Okay. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. All of them are simply creations of its sick imagination, an error in the source code or a kernel bug, which started living a life of its own. Okay. You need to get out more. If one looked at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophisticated diagnoses and maybe write a doctor's referral to the loony bin. The loony bin. Okay. I love lamp. I mean, come on. Fucking... A small apartment with no signs of repair or any semblance of order in it, and always the same view out of the window on the gray megalopolis running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. Oh, you got it tough. So tough. Well, of course, it didn't all start like this. I was born, went to school and finished it, like all the others. I was accepted at a university where I spent a year and a half, trailing behind and struggling. I drifted through several jobs. Sometimes it was working out quite well, sometimes I was even getting decent money for it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if taken from another man's biography. I wasn't living life to its fullest. It was looping over and over in monotonous circles. Like in the movie Groundhog Day. So we're really, it's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day, and every day repeated itself, the same vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. Okay. For the last few years, I just sat in front of the screen all day. Sometimes there were menial jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder, really, since my needs are quite minor. That doesn't sound right. I hardly ever leave my home, and my communication with other people almost exclusively consists of online correspondence with the anonymous, who have no real name, no gender, no age. Well, you could have just said no real name, gender, or age, but whatever. So, in brief, a quite typical life of a quite typical antisocial person of his time, okay? Kind of Donnie Darko on a minor scale, without doomsday-related visions. Seriously, why are we doing all... Alright, whatever. Maybe some highly respected author, right, will write a novel about me, and it will become a contemporary classic of modern literature. I very highly doubt an author will write anything about you. Or I will write one myself. No, clearly not. You don't know how to write. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I tried many times, but couldn't even come up with a simple short story. I tried to learn many other things as well. Not gifted enough to draw, programming, got bored, foreign languages takes up too much time. The only thing I ever loved doing was reading, but still I would never have called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and a grandmaster of lame internet jokes. Okay. If I were to get paid for it, I would probably be a happier person, and a richer person too, but I doubt it would fill the hole inside me. Okay. You could try cement. That's good to fill holes. Today was another typical day of a typical failure's typical life, typically, with typicalness, on a typical scale of typicality. And today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really didn't want to, typically, because it's typical. What is the point? The time I spent with them was so short. However, I was persuaded by a friend, a former university mate, and one of the few with whom I kept in touch other than through the internet. Alright. They've gone plaid! Oh, okay, so... Screenshots. I mean, I get you're trying to make it seem like stuff is happening. Slender Man, alright. Oh, it's Boring Man, never mind. Oh, I am so depressed. Okay. A frosty evening. Bus stop. Waiting. Lights. Signpost. Bench. Tree. I mean, come on. I never liked winter. Though hot summer is not my season either. Really, I'm just not an anything kind of person. Okay. It's just I see no reason to point out any particular time of year. It doesn't matter what the weather outside is when you stay home 24/7, except that you're at the bus stop, so it's not 24/7, is it? Maybe 23/7. The bus today was running so late that I was about to curse it all and spend my last few hundred rubles for a taxi. the idea of just returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, millions of thoughts flew through my mind, but there was not a single useful one to seize on. Well, and then you decided to start writing, so, I mean, we can see that. Such a thought that you could bring into existence, give a shape, turn into an idea, and put into practice. Maybe I could start my own business. No. But where would I get the money from? Maybe I could go back to working in the office. No, no way. Maybe I should try freelancing. But what skills do I have, and who would want me after all? You could be a male hooker. I don't know. Something. I suddenly remembered my childhood. Okay, we're going to do another wall of text. Or rather, my teen years, the time when I was 15 to 17 years old. Because 13 is not a teen, and 18 is not a teen. Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's because back then everything was much more simple. It was easier to make decisions, so complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my day was going to pass, and I always eagerly looked forward to the weekend. Then I could get some rest and have time for the things I liked. Computer, football, going out with friends. So wait, you liked football, but you have no aspirations whatsoever. Come on, man. And then, at the beginning of the next week, I'd take up my studies again. Back then, there were no worrying questions like why, who needs it, what will change if I do it, or what will not change. A simple lifestyle, so casual for any normal person and so odd to myself today. That careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Her appearance and personality have vanished from my memory. Well then how do you know you met your first love? Whatever. Only her name remains, like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her. Affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her and to protect her. Okay. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today I can hardly imagine something like that happening. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation, what on earth to discuss, and how to attract her. Magnets. Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time. But where could I meet one anyway? You're getting ready to go to a reunion. Meet somebody on the bus. You could meet somebody online. Come on, man. The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. A bus pulled over. There was something abnormal about it, I thought. Okay. Then again, it doesn't matter. Only the 410 runs this route. Okay. I mean, I like the artwork, but it's just a terrible story. What the hell's wrong with that thing? Streetlights pass me by. It's as if their cold light sparks inside me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Or maybe not ignite, just awaken them. Because those feelings, they have been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio was playing some very familiar tune, but I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars passing by the fogged-up window. Because the people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds, why would they care about mine? Okay. They probably have their own serious problems, or maybe they have much easier lives. You can't know for sure, since all people are different. People are different! Or are they? Yeah, well, come on, man. Sometimes someone's actions can be easily predicted. But if you try to look inside his soul, you will only see impenetrable darkness. Thoughts. The bus was approaching downtown, and my thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show, and somehow I got terribly sleepy. My eyes closed just for a moment, and then... Okay. And then... Black screen. Oh. Oh, there's actually an intro. Okay. And then, we had an intro. Okay. I didn't expect an intro. It's kind of interesting. is like the first good thing that we've seen in this game. It's a girl! Oh my god! What? Children! I don't know how to read Russian, but I'll try. Achya! Oh, wow, really? Dude. Okay. You gotta when you do. Why do we keep seeing panty shots? I mean, really? The game of sluts on the bus. Well, that's not fair. I don't know that they're sluts. They might be sluts. Day 1. Oh, okay. Bright daylight struck my eyes. At first I didn't pay attention as I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me toward the door. Damn, looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop, but there was no door. I looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't a good old worn-out Liaz. Instead, the bus was an Icarus model, a new one. I froze in shock. How? What? Am I dead? Have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painfully in the face a few times, and then a few more, and then a few more, and then a few more, and then a few more. Okay. Banged my forehead on the back of one of the buses. Why would you do that? It's clear, either I'm still alive, or you can still feel pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept for too long and ended up at the bus depot. And then what? Did they put me onto another bus? I rushed out and took a look around. You said there was no door! You just said there was no door! Greenery wherever I looked. Tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer! Even though you already said you don't care about the different seasons. But how? It was winter just a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably, as if it was going to explode. Slowly, I began to remember. What? A long road running off into the distance. Forests, plains, fields, lakes, and forests again, and forests, and plains, and lakes, and fields, and forests again, forests, and... Okay. I think I was sleeping, but then how can I remember all of it? And then, a gap between her thighs. Okay. Some girl leaning over me. She softly whispered something into my ear. Then a gap again. Okay. And then I woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Did she date rape me? Or was she just a dream? For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calm down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. Oh, you've got internal bleeding. You better get that checked out. Could it be her, and who brought me here? Then I need to find her. And the best place to look for her is away from here. How do you know that? Maybe she's hiding on the back of the bus. You didn't really examine the bus. I mean, you clearly didn't, because you said there was no door, and now there's a door, so... Whatever. I rushed to the left. And then to the right. And then stopped, hesitating over where to go. Finally, I ran into the direction from which the bus had probably came. Dots. More dots. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind. Thoughts become clearer, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing and trying to ease my sore throat by gulping breaths of hot air, and then collapsing and dying! In any case, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming. Though, recalling my self-harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. Okay. I am neither dreaming nor dead. Semyon? Who? A narrow road ran through the field and far into the distance. That exact same road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. And it's not just that it was winter yesterday and it's summer now. It's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this, green and hot, but everything here is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from the paintings of Russian landscape artists of the 19th century. The grass is just too lush. The bushes are not what bushes should be. They are so thick that you can't see anything through them, like treetops, honestly. And the trees themselves. The forest was quite far away, but the trees looked as if they had closed their ranks, and were now just waiting for the order to advance onto the fields and plains. Order! March! Tree, 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 tree! Whatever. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. That was a good run. Okay. Fear overtook me once again. Those power lines. There must be people here! Well, I mean, probably. But what does it mean? Well, you see, power lines are usually kept up like this. You got transistors and things of that nature up there, and they're kept up like this so that some jackass doesn't exactly trip over them and fry his ass to death. So that's typically what power lines mean. I mean, there's also the AC and the DC current and everything like that, but let's not get into that. In fact, that means nothing at all! Then why did you say it? Couldn't they have power lines even in hell? What? Hell power lines! Oh, okay. Powered by the blood of the innocent! Got blood of the innocent over IP. That's how we make calls in hell. Right. Roasting sinners over hot coals? That's so last century. This fucking guy. I must have finally reached the point of no return, after which you either lose your mind completely or finally try to understand what is going on. Dude, you're really overthinking this. And while I still have a choice, I should pick the second option. What were the options again? I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course it was scary. But I'm not likely to find an answer in the fields or the woods, and this wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of link I have with the real world. Thoughts? Well, the real question would be, where the fuck is the driver? I should carefully scout the area. Oh look, it's the place from your dreams. Sovnyak means outlet. Well, okay. So, is this the Sovnyak? Is that Sovnyak or is that Sovnyak? Oh well, whatever. A brick wall and its gates crowned with a Sovnyak sign. Statues of pioneers standing on either side, and a road sign nearby showing the bus route number 410. The trip's taking a bit too long today. What are you talking about? I smirked. A person may start acting inappropriately in extreme situations, and then I fondled the statues. Something like that is probably happening to me right now. Something inappropriate? Okay. This place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage to the walls. Sovnyak. What could have a name like that? A gate! A gate could have a name like that, because the gate has that name. Judging by the pioneer statues, it could be a kid's summer camp. Moreover, it appears to be open! Okay. Of course, the simplest explanation, logically speaking, explains nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from a hallucination to a time and space shift. None was worse than any other, but there was really no way to pick a single one. There is. Then it occurred to me, I can try to make a phone call! I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contact list. Okay. But instead of signal strength bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. What? Alright, there may be no signal in such a remote place. Though I cannot be the only one who came here. Well, actually, you know, if there were power lines over there, and there's power lines here too, there's a very good chance that those were also broadcast towers, so I really don't understand why you wouldn't have any bars. I understand that it's a minor contrivance for the sake of the game, but it is a bit of a plot hole. There's even fucking shit right there. Come on, man. Buses don't drive themselves. Well, apparently you've never been on the magic school bus. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure that it wasn't a hallucination. Well, I mean, you hit your head on the seat a couple of times. I don't think it's a hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, some rust here and there, faded paint and worn out tires. No, this is definitely a very ordinary Icarus. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus which takes you to places beyond your understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. I don't think that's what buses do, but okay. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came out all by itself, sporadically. Because this wasn't the right place or time to laugh. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to wait until our designated laughing session for that then. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curb beside the bus and started to wait. Curb. Right. Thoughts. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to go slightly mad. Whatever. In such a situation, anyone would probably have felt something similar. No, you know, really, I don't think so. I think most people would be relatively composed, though anxious and a little fearful, but not slightly mad. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? Is this how my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things that I had no time for yet. Actually, you had absolutely zero ambition. You have already said that. There's nothing you wanted to do. I was overwhelmed by the idea. This was definitely the end. But why? It's not fair! Surely I'm no worse than everyone else! You're tearing me apart, Lisa! God, why? Because you are boring! Okay. Tears were burning my eyes unbearably. Ah! 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 You might want to get that checked out. I curled up and started rolling in the grass. Wee! Roll in the hay. Okay. Why? What did I do? Why me? Who the fuck is Semyon? I'm guessing that's your character's name, but that was never established. But my cries were only heard by the speechless statues of the pioneers and a bird on the tree, who all laughed at him, which immediately flapped its wings and took off, crying out something in its own bird language, as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its after-dinner nap. Well, you are kind of an idiot. I was left breathless and from weeping and just lay quietly, sobbing occasionally, because I'm a little bitch. Dots. Is there a point? Is there a point to any of this? After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up a bit, as if terror and the fear of death gave me a little break. Oh, yeah, you know, just gives you a little break. Sure, why not? All in all, if someone wanted to kill me, what is all this for? It doesn't look like an experiment either. If this is some crazy coincidence, then there's probably no threat. Anyway, for now, it seems there's no danger. The panic was soon gone. This is the first thing that should have come to your mind. Of course, the blood was still pounding in my temples and my hands were still shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Legs weak, arms are heavy, mom spaghetti, whatever. Right now, there is nothing I can really change anyway! Okay. So, no matter how much I think or how mad I get, it would only make things worse. Until some actual facts appear, there is really no point in making guesses. Well, I mean, most people make educated guesses based on a given situation to try to make sense of a situation they don't understand. So you're kind of a fucking idiot. In any case, I won't learn anything by lounging around here. This camp, if of course it really is a camp, Mr. Camp, if that is your real name. Actually, it's Sofyanok. Looked like the only place where people could be, so I decided to go there. And hardly had I reached the gates when... Let me guess, is there a woman, and then it's your dream, and it's a deja vu experience? I bet it is. A girl came out from behind them. Ah, called it. Yeah. Wearing a pioneer uniform. I don't... How is it? I think that's a bad translation. I don't understand how this is a pioneer uniform. My logic didn't let me down this time. Then again, a pioneer uniform in the 21st century. This is not... What are you talking about? It's just a standard... It's... You're weird. Then again, a girl here. I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Because girls and vaginas scare me! Running as far away as I could from this place. Far from the bus, gates, and statues. Far... from this bloody bird with its siesta. And I ran so far away. Okay. Just running, free like the wind. Run to the hills! Okay. Faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Winking at the... What? Running, becoming a pulsar ray. Okay. Turning into a... vestigial radiation. Alright. Running to face the unknown. Okay. Yeah, I'm slightly mad, right? Run no matter where, as long as it's far away from this place. Oh shit, she got closer! Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiled. I could not help but notice her beauty. Really? I mean, I like her hair, but that's about it. Even though I was trembling with fear. I almost said even though her hair was trembling with fear. Human instincts work independent of consciousness, and while only 5% of the brain is responsible for cognitive processes, the remaining 95% are busy sustaining life, and in particular ensuring stable functioning of the hormonal system. Well, thank you, Dr. Scientist. I desperately wanted to get less complicated, and stopped thinking in formal quotes from an encyclopedia. Well, okay. Though my thoughts appeared one by one, being stupid, out of place, as if taken from an internal monologue of the hero of some junky, softcover crime fiction book. Okay. A pretty Slavic face, long braids, looked like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes you could drown in. That's... alright. Hi! You must have just arrived! Do not reply. Reply. Do not reply. Yeah, reply. Yeah. Alright then, welcome. She smiled broadly. Hey, hey, hey. Her smile is big-boned. Oh, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Strange. It looked as if I had just a normal girl in front of me. Bah! I shouldn't have returned here. The woods and fields seem better. Okay. But what should I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was a human, or run away, or what? What? The blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more, and the poor pioneer girl would have been splattered with the gruesome contents of my skull. This guy's got a condition, apparently. What's so funny about that? The girl looked me over. It sent shivers down my spine, and my knees started to tremble. Nothing. Great, then. Great? What's so great about that? You know, just get on with it. Suddenly a thought crossed my mind. To hell with it all! Forget about the bus behind me, the fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I wanted to rip off my itchy sweater and just accept that all of this is actually happening. Everything is as it should be. All this is for the best. Would you happen to know? You should go to our camp leader. She'll tell you everything. Look! You go straight ahead to the square and turn left. You see several small cabins. She pointed to the gates as if I knew what was behind them. Yeah, I'm trying to give her an Applejack accent of sorts. Well, you can ask someone where the cabin is. Is a patronymic, a derivative of a person's father's name, in this case Dmitri. put by Russians after the person's first name as a sign of respect or formal address. Okay. So what, it's like Olga-chan? I'm just going to say Olga-chan. Got it? Of course I didn't. Well, I gotta go now. The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if to her I was something ordinary. Oh. And all of this show with the bus and the travels while awake or asleep were troubling only to me, while everything else here is just the way it's supposed to be. Camp leader, pioneer uniform. What, are they doing a historical reenactment here? I hope I wouldn't find Lenin standing atop an armored car in the square. Okay. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed into the camp. A mere 50 meters ahead, a small one-story house. House popped up on the left side. Boop. Okay. The sign near the door said, "Clubs." Well, perhaps they have bats in here. I was about to come closer when the door suddenly opened and a short girl wearing a pioneer uniform came out. Ah, run! Her pretty face, pretty to you maybe, gave me the impression of one suffering for the fate of the whole mankind with a truly universal sorrow. Wow! As soon as she saw me, the girl froze as if frightened. I froze too, considering what was the best to do. Approach her first, or wait until she showed me some initiative. Or maybe run away from it all. Although this last option was constantly being suggested only by my self-preservation instinct, at least that's what I'd like to believe. Not the worst human instinct, but far from the most logical. Because you've been so logical up to this point. If this instinct played poker against deductive abilities, the outcome will be predetermined. Okay, so I'm not thinking of the cast from Inside Out sitting around playing Texas Hold'em, because Jesus Christ. And those deductive abilities, or at least their semblance, were hinting to me that there was no need to be afraid of this girl. Jesus, that's a midget. Suddenly, somebody jumped out of the nearby bushes. A girl wearing a red t-shirt with USSR written on it. Actually, it says CCCP. Such a perfect reproduction of the age. She looked quite short from a distance and was probably younger than both Pioneer girls. Wait, I just noticed this. She has junk. Look, okay, we got skirts here, right? Why does she have a dick? Why does she have a dick? Don't tell me that's just a gap. No, she has a dick. Okay. The one at the gates and this girl at the door of the clubs. Okay. She still has a dick. At last I decided to come closer, but the USSR, as I called her in my mind, jumped toward the first girl and started telling her something while wildly waving her arms. The other girl, in turn, seemed confused and lowered her gaze, remaining silent. I would have probably continued to observe their amusing dialogue, but the USSR suddenly pulled something out of her pocket and started waving it in front of the first girl's face. And at no point did you overhear any of this dialogue. What the? This something turned out to be a grasshopper. Eee! The first girl squealed. She must not be too keen on insects, as she instantly rushed off toward the place where Lenin presumably made his speech about the workers' and peasants' revolution. What? That is to say, toward the square. Okay. The USSR glanced at me, grinned playfully, and dashed after her. Not a bad start to the day. I think you've had a bad start your whole life. I have absolutely no clue where I am. Besides that, there are some kids here role-playing as pioneers. And as far as I can tell, this place is located thousands of kilometers away from my home. It might even be a different reality. Indeed. And it was indeed a reality. I mean, everything around me seemed so real, if a little embellished, that I was starting to think that, in fact, my previous life could have just been a dream. Okay. And what am I supposed to do now? Dots. I was picking at the cracked paving stones with my shoe and staring aimlessly at the club's building. Just a few more seconds before I would have to come up with some decision. That's when I recalled myself rolling on the grass weeping. What? Again? I cringed in disgust. Perhaps it's another instinct. When all energy for whimpering and self-pitying is used up, the body either goes into hibernation or mobilizes its reserves. So I think this guy has a condition. Mine seemed to have chosen the second option, because out of the blue I found the determination to figure out what was going on. And in order to do that, I had to act like a man, like a human, to maintain the dignity of a representative of my own world! I followed the path to the left, and on the right side, which stood small cabins, apparently the homes of the local pioneers. Actually, they looked quite cozy from the outside. Even though I was born in the Soviet Union, I had never been a part of its children's organizations, neither the pioneers nor even the younger October children. I imagined the daily life of a typical pioneer camp a bit differently. Huge barracks with long rows of metal bunks, wake up call at 6 o'clock, played by a siren, 1 minute to make your bed, then joining the formation of the drill square. Or wait! Could I be confusing it with something else? Suddenly something struck me on the back, and I died! No. I staggered but remained on my feet, turned around and prepared to fight heroically for my life. Wow. Alright. But all I found was another girl standing before me. My mouth hung open in surprise. Pick your jaw up off the ground. I closed my mouth. Yep. The same pioneer uniform, but the way she was wearing it looked, let's say, provocative. Get rid of that pesky. Okay. Like all the girls I had met here before, this one was rather cute, but her overly arrogant expression killed any desire to get to know her better. Right. New here, are ya? Fine, see ya! She threw a threatening glance at me and walked past. Okay. I waited for the pioneer girl to turn at the corner. Who knows what else she might have been up to? What? The most interesting thing was, there's nothing interesting here, trust me, was that even this hostile girl seemed completely normal to me. She did not give off the feeling of some deadly anger. I don't know, that first scene looked kind of creepy. Except maybe the danger of getting punched in the nose. That's danger! That's called danger! Okay. At last I managed to make it to the square. There was no Leonard? Good God. Lenin on an armored car, although one could easily expect something like that after all this had happened. Not really! Instead, however, a monument to a certain comrade towered in the middle of the square. The letters on the pedestal read, Genda. Must be some big figure in the party. There were some small benches at the sides. It's quite pleasant here. Where did that girl tell me to go? To the left or to the right? To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the left. Why am I going there anyway? Ah, right. I've decided to pretend to be normal. Well, you are anything but. So, to the right! Okay. Through a small grove. Oh, okay. I came out at a pier. I must have taken a wrong turn. Hey! Wrong way! I turned toward the voice. Whoa! Alright. Yeah. Gonna just turn down the lights here a little while. Let you listen to some smooth jazz. How y'all doing today? Are you with your lovers? Are you on your way to your lovers? Maybe you don't have anyone right now. Maybe, just maybe, your lover is your just maybe, you're gonna have a threesome with both of your hands. Alright. Now what did I tell you? Take a left at the square, wasn't it? She had changed from her pioneer uniform into a bikini. Oh, I still haven't introduced myself. Yeah, I'm done with the whole accent thing, I don't care. My name is Slavya! Actually, my full name is Slavyana, but everyone calls me Slavya. It doesn't, I mean, you're not really shortening it by much. So you can too! Yeah. I still felt a bit confused, so I could not come up with more meaningful answers. And what's your name? It felt like she could see right through me. Semyon. Nice to meet you, Semyon. Alright, I'm almost done here. Could you wait here a minute? I'm going to change and we'll go to Olga-chan together. Agreed? Agreed. After this exchange, she ran off. I sat on the pier and let my feet hang into the water. I was wearing heavy winter boots, but in such weather there was nothing wrong with getting my feet wet. Furthermore, it let me cool myself a little. Looking at the river, I was brainstorming and processing everything that has happened. If this is some kind of conspiracy, it's a weird one, even too friendly at times. No, it really looks more like a random event. Some entirely incomprehensible random event. Shall we go? Okay, that didn't take long. Slavia was standing beside me, dressed in the pioneer uniform again. Let's go! I've been here a very short time, but of all the people I've met, she looks the least suspicious. However, this fact is already suspicious itself! I accuse you, fact! It was you! It was you! With a knife in the conservatory! No! No, it wasn't! It wasn't Mr. Fact! Whatever. We walked to the square. Okay. The USSR girl and the girl who hit me on the back were there, chasing each other. Is this some kind of game they're playing? Ulyana, enough running. I'll tell Olga-chan. Aye aye, Captain. Oh, so it's Captain Slavia. Gotcha. I decided not to question Slavia for a while about what was going on or the local residents. Better meet with this mysterious Olga-chan first. Sounds like she's the boss here. We walked past the rows of almost identical cabins, some of which looked like fat beer barrels, while others looked more like household sheds. Finally, Slavia stopped in front of a smallish one-story cabin. Okay. It looked like an artist's painting. The faded paint chipping here and there with age. It was sparkling in the sun. The window shutters, slightly ajar, were swaying almost unnoticeably in the wind, and huge lilac bushes were growing at the sides. It seemed as if this ramshackle hut was drowning in a storm of purple silk, and the lilacs, like some elemental force, were inexorably destroying the troop leader's house. No! Not my house! Come on. What are you standing around for? Let's go! Slavia snapped me out of my daydreaming. And stop teasing Lena already. What? What? What the fuck? Rena! Sounds like there's someone inside. What in the blue fuck was that? Indeed, a moment later the door swung open, and Ulyana ran out and dashed past with the same mischievous grin and penis. The pigtailed girl came out next. Don't let it bother you, Lena. So her name is Lena. Gotta be thankful it's not Rena, at least. Why would that matter? Why would that matter? There wasn't even an explanation up here as to what the fuck that image was. But I don't... Instead of finishing her sentence, she blushed quickly headed toward the square. For some reason, I felt like turning and following her with my eyes, but Slavia said, "Come." Okay. Squirt, squirt. We entered the cabin. Inside it looked something similar to what I imagined. 2 beds, a table, a couple of chairs, a simple carpet on the floor, a wardrobe. Nothing special, but at the same time it felt homelike and cozy, although this room was almost in the same state of disorder as my own flat. girl standing near the window appeared to be about 25 years old. Nature had obviously gifted her with a pretty face and a good body. Are you sure? I mean, the titties are okay, but are you sure about the good face? It looks kind of blank and vacant. Well, nothing's happened up to this point, so I think we'll just save and call it a day here, because, good God, man. Just save. Do it. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I really do want to quit the game. What the fuck is this thing? Well, that was, something. Alright, well anyway, we've been playing Everlasting Summer for my uncomfortably romantic Valentine's Day special. As always, this is Gunsage, and just... Look, Written in the Sky was not written very well. The artwork wasn't that great. So this one is sort of a step up from that, but not really. The writing has a tendency to blather on and go into details that aren't necessary or interesting. It's attempting to make things that aren't interesting at all interesting. And while it does look a lot better, the artwork for the actual females is not very good at all. It's really not. I mean, the few brief scenes where we saw the main character, he actually looked alright. You know, in the intro and everything, but it just looks like some fucking deviant art first grader bullshit for the women. I guess it's not as bad as Seduce Me the Otome, but still, I don't know. I was pretty bored. I mean, I decided to kind of fuck around with it while I was going on, as you saw, well, and heard. Anyway, I certainly hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day. Bye!